Hi everyone, I'm Tony with Harper Therapy, and I am here with the fabulous
Dr. Blanco.
and we are in our final week of our journey of trauma and the different versions of it and how it can show up in our lives and how to best explain it with movies.
I know. I decided that I wanted a different approach because when we see something on a movie screen, there is something that connects with us. So our emotions are externalized and we can identify them better. So I decided, let's go through this. So in these past few weeks, we've done generational trauma, we've done inner child trauma, we've done child loss trauma. So for the last week, what I wanted to do was kind of wrap up and say, how do we work with this in a way that can help us move forward? So I said, reparenting ourselves after trauma. Not everybody has ideal parents. Nobody does. So we need to give ourselves at some point the love, the unconditional attention, the unconditional approval that we didn't receive as we were growing up. Hence, cue Turning Red by Pixar. This movie is beautifully made. It represents generational dynamics. It's culturally diverse. It talks about how when we decide to identify the unhealthy patterns in our families and we have to transition to become who we truly are, then we have the opportunity of reparenting ourselves, giving ourselves what we couldn't receive as we were growing up. So we see that a little bit in May as she's turning into this red panda, but mostly we see this in her mom and her mom's relationship. So mom and grandmother.
Right. Because they have to rebuild all of that with one another, because what May's mom is doing to her, May's grandmother. I was like, wait, how do I not confuse myself there? Yeah, May's grandmother did to May's mom.
Yeah. And that moment of transition, that moment of knowing that when you go through these difficult moments, again, another example of how you need a tribe around you when all the aunties show up, but also the opportunity of, I am worthy enough, whether I heard it from my parents or not. I am good enough, whether I heard it or not. I am smart enough. I am wanted. I am loved. I am unique. Those messages didn't come through until that moment where everything kind of imploded under the Toronto Dome, and you had this confrontation of what did we do? And what really grabbed me in this movie is that everything that was being done that could cause trauma and then had to be reparented stemmed out of love.
I was just gonna say, nobody, like, listen, I didn't have two babies and be like, you know what I want to do? I'm just gonna mess them up as best as I can. What I'm gonna do, it's my goal in life. I do everything I can every day out of love for those two kids, but you know, I also know I am messing them up.
Yeah.
And I've told them that pretty open.
And there are families that will openly say, you know what, I did my best and I messed up. There are also families that they thought it was out of love and it was very misconstrued type of a love, and we see sexual abuse and we see physical abuse. So kind of understanding that there is a very different perception of what love is in different traumatic events. But in this particular movie, I wanted to kind of point out it stems out of a place of love, of protection, of wanting them to be safe, to be well. And in our reparenting process is understanding there are moments where loving myself means I have to set this boundary. There are moments when loving myself means I need to speak up and go for a dream that I have.
And fight whatever's coming at you. Fight the force that's telling you, no, this isn't okay, this isn't what we do.
And accepting that we are not just one entity, we are a combination of what came before us, what's coming after us, and we have good moments, we have red panda moments.
Absolutely.
We have this whole process inside, and the reparenting requires us to acknowledge this is where you are today. and this is what we're working on today.
Right.
And this is what we're going to try to not be reactive today because it comes from another area of trauma.
Right. I think recognizing that we are doing the best we can with the information that we have at that time. So May's family was doing the best they could with the information that they had at the time. What May's grandmother taught May's mom, and they thought that was all okay. Well, then May came along and wanted to be different.
Yeah.
And so what they show very nicely in the movie is that when May is ready to stand up for herself, they all accept her.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it does not always go that beautifully. But recognizing that is then when the tribes come in, because May also had her friends.
Her little friends.
Yeah, she had all her friends who supported her and all of her red panda-ness and all of that. So just being able to recognize that you can create a tribe, you are doing the best you can with the information you have at the time, and things are just being done out of love. But then when you're ready to find that trauma and you're ready to reparent. And that can happen at any point in time, and being able, I think there's a lot of power in being able to say, I was doing the best I could with the information I had, and I messed up. What can okay, so how do I get better now? Yeah. And that's the biggest difference.
And that's the reparenting process. So it's not as streamlined as we just kind of talked about it. There's a lot of ups and downs, but I mean, time-wise, this is short and sweet. Go to the blog on our website, read a little bit more, and if anything really resonated with you, this reparenting process, how do we do that? Feel free to give us a call, 813-434-3639, and let Harbor Therapy be your home for hope, growth, and healing.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.